there will be a little bit slow snow, and the track is quite long. The winning time for the men was 3:07, and for the girls more than 3.5 minutes. So there is plenty of time to overtake and make other discussions during the race.
So just to go back about an hour or so, the women have had about an hour and 15 minutes since they finished the qualifying. As you see, the first draw in the first of the quarterfinals. What have they been doing in the last 75 minutes, Magna?
They have been jogging or skiing quite slowly. Then they go into the waxing cabins or resting rooms, take some water, maybe some light food. Some of them have got some massage, and I know some teams also are bringing bicycles, so they can warm up that way.
And an army of servicemen to support these racers as we get ready for the first of our quarterfinals. The system is as it is in World Cup, but if you're not familiar with that, let me tell you what happens. Each quarterfinal, the first two across the line go to the semi-finals. For the other two, I'm afraid, the medal chase is over. It's that cruel. You're looking there, wearing for Claudia Kunzel. Claudia Kunzel, who's carrying a little bit of support from my colleague Magna. He thinks that her improving performances throughout the championship so far give her a really good chance. And she's got good credentials. She was fourth in the Olympics. Maybe today, Magna, will be her day for a medal.
Yes, I think she was looking really good in the relay. She had a very good finish, and I think her performers are on top. Of course, Marit Bjørgen is the big favorite after qualification, but watch out for Kunzel.
Well, the first quarterfinal sees the big favorite, Marit Bjørgen, wearing one up against Anita Mohn, her own teammate, Stephanie Böhler of Germany, really raw talent but very promising, and Madoki Natsumi of Japan, the only Japanese racer to get in, so well done to her. But we're almost ready, and you can see the lanes they've chosen. There is Marit Bjørgen. Now we'll get a better view in a moment. Where's Bjørgen chosen?
She made the choice of lane number 2, and Anita Mohn is at lane number 1.
So David Goldstrom together with Magna Dahlin in the Lago di Tesoro Stadium. We're through to the quarterfinal stages of the World Championship of Sprints. The women's division to start, the men's to follow later. It's Marit Bjørgen, the big favourite for Norway, together with teammate Anita Mohn, up against Stephanie Böhler of Germany and Madoki Natsumi for Japan. The Norwegians, by right of their faster times in qualifying, have chosen the inside lanes. Those are the ones over to the left-hand side, and the reason they've chosen for those is because of the first very sharp left-hander. So they'll be trying to really burst off from the start, Magna.
I think they will do that, and but in this quarterfinal, I think the Norwegian will have it quite easy. Maybe the German girl can manage them.
Well, I never think anything's easy in the World Championships, and I wouldn't take anything for granted. There's Anita Mohn. Anita Mohn, of course, Olympic bronze medalist. Marit Bjørgen, well, what progress has Marit Bjørgen made this season? She's really come of age, and 3 victories in the World Cup. She's the leading sprinter of the season coming into these championships. Hometown of Trondheim, just 22 years of age, and away we go. And in fact, the 2 Norwegians in the centre lanes there, and closest to you wearing 16, that's the Japanese, Anita Mohn with that white headband, the white hat there of Marit Bjørgen, and Stephanie Böhler on the left-hand side. She's got the sharp turn, and it's Stephanie Böhler vying there with Marit Bjørgen, and Anita Mohn tucking in behind. That's intelligent, not to get into trouble, and it's Natsumi of Japan who brings up the rear. Now what she's got to do is to stay in that position as they turn towards now this very important first uphill now, Magna.
Yes, now they're coming onto this uphill, and it's important to stay to the right and have the inner curve in that uphill, and it's looking like they are not going for 100 speed right now. They are taking it quite easy.
Now, if the Norwegians are super confident, of course, this is to their benefit, isn't it? Because they've got to go through this round and the semi-finals and then the final. So they're actually racing over the day some 6,000 metres. Yep. So they're preserving energy. They want to do this as economically as possible.
Now you can see the German girl are going beside the Norwegian, and she are going a much longer way than the Norwegian girls. And now she's going in and trying to take the third place.
Yes, the Norwegians, of course, bronze medalists in the relay squad, and Marit Bjørgen did a great job on the second leg in classic style, and here she is as a freestyle skater, and she's underlining her all-round ability. Anita Moen, well, setbacks at the beginning of the championships. Those of you who've been with us all the way for the ride will know that Anita Moen was injured, had to pull out of the 10K Classic, and now she's being annoyed there by Stephanie Böhler, still being forced to go the long round, but Stephanie Böhler determined to try and make her presence felt. 22 years of age, from the Black Forest, but these days based out of Ruhpolding, the great biathlon centre. Bjørgen's away. Moen has got the better of the argument, and 3 to 4 metres opening up now. Now Marit Bjørgen, surely, Magna, she'll just want to control and conserve her energy.
She wants to test the track really now, and I think she is confident with what happened in that uphill. And the uphill was very, very steep.
1,500 metres, it's an awful long way. I think over the years to come the distance will be reduced, but it is Norway 1, Norway 2. It's going to form at the moment. Marit Bjørgen, who was some 3.5 seconds faster than Anita Moen in qualification, but Stephanie Böhler closing up, and all credit to the Japanese. Madoki Natsumi is doing really well. She was 12th in the Olympics, and she's much closer than I thought.
She was very many seconds behind Bjørgen, 8.33 in the qualification, so she is making very good here in the quarterfinal.
And you can see how this course just twists and turns around. Böhler not entirely out of this yet. The Japanese racer, her form just beginning to go, and this is the part of the course where now Anita Moen's looking better than ever. Coming over the last roller, that's the telltale sign, because that brings you into the last 100 metres. It's Norway 1, Norway 2. Anita Moen just determined to keep things going. Böhler trying to raise a sprint. All credit to her. This is what sprinting's about. But Marit Bjørgen close to you. Look at this beautiful rhythm, and also Anita Moen, plenty of experience there. She's using all of that, and Anita Moen is going to get there. I think Böhler's coming on her, and it's very close. Very close, and Anita Moen given a big fright by young Stephanie Böhler. And I think that tells us a lot about Anita Moen. I don't think, to be honest, that the Olympic bronze medalist is at her very best. Anita Moen on the far side by the best part of 3/4 of a length. Yeah. But Stephanie Böhler shouldn't have got that close to Anita Moen.
No, Böhler was making a great fight on the finish line, but we could see that Marit Bjørgen was really confident and had no problems.
3:34 the time compared to 3:32 of Bjørgen's qualification time. So well controlled from the front. Straight on we go to the second quarter-final. The rules are the same, and this brings together Claudia Kunzel of Germany, the defending world champion Pio Männinen of Finland, Elena Sidko, one of 2 Russians, and it's Sidko that you're looking at there. She's done very well and had a couple of top 10 finishes in the World Cup sprints. There is Claudia Kunzel from Oberwiesenthal, the fastest of these 4 women in qualification. The world champion, Pio Männinen, unable to take part in the Olympics due to stress fracture problems, and young Cristina Kelder for Italy. In her first World Championship, the 21-year-old, she's the only Italian who's made it through to the 16, so we wish her well. So Kunzel in that second lane from the left as you look there, and interesting to see the Norwegians chose those centre lanes in the echelon, not to be pinned in on the inside.
And also the Kunzel made the choice of lane number 2.
Männinen with her, and it's Männinen and Kunzel together going out there. Good acceleration away. And then wearing the red hat there, that's Elena Sidko for Russia, and bringing up the rear, it's Cristina Kelder.
We can mention that for the sprint races, many racers choose special sprint skis who are quite much harder and stiffer than the normal skis they are using for normal cross-country.
Yes, and one particular company, Fisher, they've got a new development. I don't know whether we can pick that out here, which is the smaller, narrower tip and tail with the mass in the centre, which makes them much more responsive, particularly in sprint racing.
Yes, and also Atomic have built a special sprint ski who was very successful in the last race in Reitenwinkel.
Good attack here by Elena Sidko, and I think this is a wise move by the Russian. She doesn't really want to leave this down to a final sprint, and at the moment it's the world champion on the right of your picture. Is it? No, it's not actually. It's Maninen's following Sidko on the right of the picture. That is Christina Kelder being forced to go the long way round, and Claudia Kunzel, interestingly, staying on the inside, but putting herself into difficulties there.
Yes, fourth position down this course. If somebody's falling, that could be dangerous for Claudia.
But if you were with us for the women's relay, you will have seen Claudia Kunzel with an explosive turn of speed, and she's got that extra gear. So I think the wise thing to do is what she's doing now, not panic. And there you can see she uses the pace, attacks on the next uphill, and puts herself into a solid position. Remember, it's only the first two. Maninen at the moment not as fluent for me as Sidko ahead of her.
No. And Claudia have the left side, and that's a longer way to go, and it was looking like she should overtake, but she have to go down to the third position again.
Sidko doing a wonderful job out front, and at the moment they've dropped Christina Kelder by some 10 metres, and their experience, these three racers, much more experienced than Christina Kelder, and I fear that she's not going to qualify, which will be disappointing for the home fans.
But the Russian girls are making a great fight in the front, and I expect the attack now from Maninen or Kunzel.
Yes, Maninen just lurking there on the right of your screen, and Kunzel, and it could be Sidko will be made the meat in the sandwich very shortly. But I think what Sidko's trying to do here, Magna, is to try and take as much energy out of the other two skiers, to draw the final sprint out of them if she can.
Yeah. And it's interesting to see now also that the Italian girl are coming back again. I think she make a great race there.
So Christina Kelder in her first World Championships. Not out of it, and now they're over the roller. They're coming down towards the final 100. Pia Maninen looking better now and at any stage of the race. Now she's fluent, the younger sister of Hannu Maninen, the Nordic combiner. But Claudia Kunzel not taking any chances. Remember, starting positions are important. Kunzel looks as if she wants to just send a message to Pia Maninen, and Kunzel is going to maintain her speed across the line and qualifies with Maninen, but 3:36, that's 2 seconds slower than Björgen and Anita Moen in the first of the quarterfinals.
And you can see at the last 100 meters that the racers that feel that they are ready for the semi-final, they'll take so little energy as possible to the finish line to save energy for the semi-final.
So Claudia Kunzel not looking particularly convincing in the beginning, but she'll have learnt a lot from that, and I think she'll improve in the semi-finals. But it is Kunzel and Maninen that go forward. Third semi-final, Canada's Becky Scott, the fastest qualifier against Hilda Pedersen, who's already got a medal at these championships, a bronze with the relay team. But we start with the silver medalist from 2 years ago, Kati Venäläinen, or as she was known then, Kati Sundqvist for Finland. Hilda Pedersen, here she is, and she is up against Manuela Henkel for Germany and Becky Scott for Canada. Becky Scott very determined. She thinks she's underperformed to this point. She's hungry, she wants a medal, and really we talked about her before the quarterfinal draw was announced, and then when we saw her in this group, you took the view that she's got to attack right from the beginning.
Yes, Becky had to go full speed because this group is very tough, and I think Becky have the capacity to burn out the energy from the other girls.
So Becky Scott, the fastest qualifier, then Pedersen, Henkel third fastest, Venäläinen the defending silver medalist, only for fastest, and a spread of about 6 seconds between these women. And closest to you is Venäläinen. Then in red for Norway, that's Hilda Pedersen with the white hat. Becky Scott is closest to you now, and on the far side, Manuela Henkel on the inside as they go round the first left-hander. Now they're heading down to a right-hander. Becky Scott putting herself in position. This is the right-hander, so twisty and turny, it's difficult to learn this course. But as they go round here, it means that Becky Scott is in pole prime position for this uphill climb. So she's done the first bit well, Magna.
Yes, that was very good for Becky, and I think she has the position that she wants now, and I expect that she will go in a very high speed in that uphill who is coming right now. And if she is going in a very high speed, maybe not others of the girl will try to overtake.
Well, she wants something out of these World Championships. The season's not over. She's had a very steady build-up to these championships. This has been her main target. So this is the most important race, I think, for her now at these championships. Due to get married to boyfriend Justin Wadsworth, the two of them who generally are based out of Bend in Oregon these days. But Becky, high tempo, being followed by Manuela Henkel, and just putting Hilda Pedersen under a little bit of pressure.
Yes, and you can see that Becky was going really fast this uphill because nobody of the others were trying to overtake, and that's a sign that the speed is very high.
Hilda Pedersen, the third best sprinter of the season. Fourth, in fact, I apologise to her, second best sprinter of the season, only bettered by Marit Bjørgen. So she's got to get herself into the race here. Manuela Henkel is being forced to go the other way around. Hilda Pedersen now seeing her opportunity to go up on the inside, raising the stakes now, and still not out of it. Kati Venäläinen for Finland, sitting at the back there, and certainly still within a chance there. Becky Scott, this is the hot quarter-final. This is the one for me which is most difficult to qualify from. Becky Scott gets a metre or two, but still a long way to go. Pedersen's move has paid off. Henkel down to third. Venäläinen still has to move up.
That is a really tight quarter-final.
And Becky Scott really being forced to work this from the front. And she knows that she does not want to have Pedersen, let alone Henkel, breathing down her neck as she comes over the final roller. That's what she's trying to avoid now. Pedersen trying to increase. Henkel's rhythm for me not as good at the moment, and this is where the strength comes in of Becky Scott. Becky Scott looking okay at the moment. What do you think, Magna?
She is looking okay, but she is tired also, and Hilda Pedersen in the back normally have a very, very good finish, and what's looking right now, I think it will be Becky Scott and Hilda Pedersen.
There's no doubt that the racers in this quarter-final are taking more out of themselves than the women in the previous one, but it is Hilda Pedersen for Norway on the left there, and Becky Scott for Canada, and they're skating now, skating in behind them there. Manuela Henkel trying to get closer. They've still got more than 100 metres to go. Venäläinen seemingly can't raise her game, but it is Becky Scott on the far side, Hilda Pedersen on the near side, and these two look pretty comfortable. Manuela Henkel is not going to surpass them. She's trying to raise as she comes into the last 20 metres, but it is Pedersen, Scott, and then Henkel and Venäläinen, who could never really get a blow in. 3:33, and that is the fastest of the quarterfinal so far. 3:34 for Marit Bjørgen in the first quarterfinal, 3:36 for Kunzel, and 3:33 for Becky Scott.
Yes.
And Pedersen, I should say.
But Hilda Pedersen and Becky Scott had to use a lot of power in this quarterfinal.
Well, out goes the silver medalist from last year, or 2 years ago, I should say. But Pedersen it is. And fascinating semi-finals coming up. If you've just joined us, it's David Goldstrom together with Magna Dahlen as the sun dips down behind the mountain and the temperatures chill off, and that's going to give a little test for the servicemen who have to prepare the skis over the next hour or so. The men will be into quarter-final mode as soon as this last women's quarter-final is decided. So Evie Sakenbacher, the Olympic silver medalist, she goes in this against the 21-year-old Russian Korostoleva wearing 6. wearing 14. This is Maya Helen Sorkmo, who was a late replacement for Bente Skori, whose tummy troubles returned to her so sadly. We would have loved to have seen Bente in this, because in the Norwegian Nationals she actually beat Marit Bjørgen. Sara Renner, can she join Becky Scott to give Canada 2 in the semi-finals? Evie Sakenbakker from Ruitenwinkel, a real star, so popular already with a couple of medals at these championships, not least of all, Magna, a very good gold in the relay for Germany.
Yes, she was fantastic in the relay, and I know that she is very good prepared for this sprint. She have a very good finish, but I don't think she will take the lead directly. Maybe we will see that from the Russian girl again. That's normal for the Russian girls, that they want to stay in the front, but they normally have problems at the finish.
Well, we don't have this very often, but so keen are they to get away. A little bit of a false start. So closest to you in red, Maya Helen Sorkmo, and we've just reversed round the other way now. We'll give you an identification. Closest to you now, this is Sorkmo. Then that's Sara Renner. Then Evie Sakenbakker. Right on the far side, it's Korosteleva for Russia on the inside track. As they come to the end of the 100, they break round the left-hander. And Korosteleva, she's got the advantage there. Sakenbakker sitting in. And I agree with you, Magna. The extra kick that Evie Sakenbakker's got, I think she'll save that. She'll preserve that.
Yes, she will try to use so little energy as possible at this quarterfinal, and I don't think she will have a problem to reach the semi-final.
And Sara Renner there just getting a bit bundled out of it by Maya Helen Sorkmo. Sorkmo, pretty wise racer. I mean, 6th in the Olympic Games in Salt Lake City, so her credentials are very good. And in the rankings, comes into these World Championships late as a replacement for Bente Skori, but she is the 7th best sprinter of the season, so not out of this.
The Russian girls are looking quite stressed, and the other girls are trying to overtake. Evie Sakenbakker second, and then you have Sara Renner on the inside, and Sorkmo is 4th right now. I can see that she is using the new sprint skis from Atomic with a green design.
The Russian girl, as did her teammate in the second quarter-final, Elena Sidko, doing what she can only do here, Magna, which is to try and draw the sting out of the others.
Yes, that is the same way that Becky Scott did, but it costs a lot of energy.
Well, I think if Korosteleva can qualify, she won't mind how much energy she is, but there you can see the strength of Evie Sakenbakker, particularly on the climb. This is a characteristic of hers, to attack and then take the position. She's looking for that inside position for where she can command the race. And then, having got that position now, maybe she can control the race pace from the front and preserve her energy.
Yes. And this uphill we saw was very, very steep, and we can see about the same from Sakenbakker that we did from Bjørgen, that they could go with more speed than the others at the top.
And what's also been noticeable at these championships, Magna, the German ski preparation has been pretty good.
Yes, they have a very good service group, and almost every time they have perfect skis. The Russians have not been so successful this championship with the skis and waxing.
Sara Renner's got a chance, you know, to qualify here, because the Russian girl is not that convincing. Now Sara Renner just really needs to, you know, just stay close to the Russian. I've got a feeling that she can take her and get 2 Canadians into the semi-finals. The sad side of Maya Helen Sorkmo, I think it's telling on her now. She wasn't expecting to be racing in this championship.
No, and you need to be prepared in your head for the races, and you can see that Sorkmo don't have a good day today.
No, and Skori, Bjørgen, Mørn and Pedersen were the first 4 in the national championships, but we're in towards the finish. Sara Renner attacking Korosteleva there. Korosteleva just has a little look to her left there. She sees Sara Renner. Evie Sakenbakker doing what she needs to do, but not more, and it's a really good battle. I wish we could see this side on, because it would be so more informative. There's not much between Korosteleva and Sara Renner on the far side, and who gets there? Ooh, Sara Renner for me, Sara Renner for the official timer as well. But look, 3 tenths between the 2 women, and well, congratulations to Sara Renner, commiserations to Korosteleva. She's only 21, and I think we're going to see a lot more of her as she grows up with a new Russian generation. But Suckenbacher really in control with that quarter-final.
That was a really good race from Sarah Renner.
And the time there, 3:33, the same as Becky Scott. Well, we're going to take a little break. We won't be away for long. When we come back, the men will be on the line for the first of their quarters.